Good morning, everybody, and welcome to live sessions. This morning, I wanted to talk to you about profit mechanisms. Every single business needs a profit mechanism, okay? And some people don't really know what a profit mechanism is. And you might be asking, what is that? Well, listen, if you aren't in your business taking in an outside investment or venture capital, you need some way to turn a profit from day one to cash flow all your efforts. And until you have this in place, you don't really have a business. You have something that kind of looks like a business. It feels like a business. It talks like a business. It takes up your time like a business, but it's really not a business. It's more of a hobby. And until you have a profit mechanism in place, you're going to be holding yourself back artificially in a way that you can control from taking your business to the next level. Now, listen, many times we're taught to put everything in the correct order, and this comes through schooling, what we learned in high school, what we learned in college. But this order of doing things is usually the reverse order of what actually works in business and will hurt you in the long run and cause more headaches. And so what is a profit mechanism? I was talking to a guy the other day. He's launching an app that is a marketplace. It's a blockchain marketplace. It's called Rise Page. You can look it up. Ryan can comment in the comments on my Facebook page too at the link. I know he's going to watch this video. It's something that he's working on. But I talked to him about his profit mechanism. He wants to enroll people in this concept that nobody's really doing. And I said, well, unless you have venture capital in place to put a bunch of money behind advertising and get millions of users and customers, or you completely reinvented every single wheel that's been done before, you're going to have a hard time working uphill. And this uphill battle is the struggle that a lot of people have in business. And so I said, he needs a profit mechanism. A profit mechanism is something that you can put out there in the marketplace to turn a predictable profit. A predictable profit, it means that you can predict that if you do XYZ, it equals ZYX in return. And what that is for some people is not always the same for everybody else. For instance, my profit mechanism for me was doing consulting services for people, scaling that up to a point that then could allow me to invest into the next phase of this, which is going to be for me launching courses for people to buy. And then that's going to be a profit mechanism for me to get to the next level. These profit mechanisms may not be our big goal. They are probably not our main goal. They're not our main focus. Our main focus, so often people are trying to hatch the chicken before the egg. And their main focus is the chicken. It's this big thing that they're trying to get to. And they're working so hard to do that when they don't even have an egg to hatch. And so what I'm talking about is you have to go in reverse order of what your mind is telling you that you should do. Instead of working so hard on the big chicken that you want to hatch, you need an egg, a nest egg, quote unquote, a profit mechanism, some sort of capital cash flow that you control to then put into your business. And that may not be the big goal that you have. It may be a stepping stone to that goal. And so there's a lot of ways to do that. A service-based business, a network marketing business. It could be sometimes getting a side job or a side hustle, some way to get some cash flow to then put into the advertising, the marketing, and the building of the chicken, of the big goal, of that big thing out there. And so what I told my friend Ryan is he's creating a course on sales. And I said, that's your profit mechanism. I said, don't even focus on selling the platform to people. Just focus on getting profit, $300 to $400 a person that signs up for this high value course that he's offering. You can put advertising into it. And then from there, take that capital to then advertise the main thing. Make it so that everybody who signs up for his course has to use his platform to access the course as a free added bonus. And then they also get trained in his platform through the course as a better way to do things that have been done in business before. And so here's what I told him. I said, because you don't have a lot of money to put behind this right now to scale it to a lot of users, you need to scale your profit mechanism first. And I know that selling courses is not your main goal, bro, but you have good content, you have great knowledge and sales to share with the marketplace, and you can monetize that. And then that monetization of that, sell 500, 1,000, 10,000 of that course, that monetization then funds the next level and the next level. And the other thing too is a lot of people are trying to make a big cash flow profit to live off of. Hey, Ryan, how's it going? I'm talking about you on this one. You can go back. I was talking about what we talked about with your Rise page. Drop a link, by the way, in the comments so people can see it. Don't try to make a profit right away. Your goal is initially to break even, to test your concept, to test it with the marketplace. What can I put out there that will, if I put $100 into advertising, $1,000 into advertising will then bring me back $1,000 or $1,500. It might not be the big thing, but you can then use this to scale your email list, to scale your customer base. This is what Amazon does. Don't always try to make that profit initially. And you might be saying, well, I have to pay my bills. Okay. And if you have a goal that you're trying to go after, you need to first cash flow what you're doing, make enough that you can then put your time, effort, and monetary investment into the big thing that you want to do. It's step by step by step. It's really being trusted with the little bit to be then made ruler over much, which is a biblical principle. And so in that, the profit mechanism that you try to do for your business will start to cash flow that. And it might not be the main thing that you're doing. You're like, well, I don't want to be selling this or that, or courses, or network marketing products, or consulting services to people in the long run. That becomes your profit mechanism to generate revenue that then you can pour into the big things that you want to do. And so you're funding that. It becomes your own venture capital, your own internal venture capital to then fund the greater, the bigger things in that. And then you start to look at, okay, what do I need to offload? What do I need to hire for? And you're building this from the perspective of how do I get cash flow right away versus how do I go after my goal right away? A lot of times people think if they're going after cash flow, they're then laying aside their main goal. But you have to think bigger than that. You have to make your goal higher and look higher than just the main goal. A lot of people make their cash flow mechanism and their profit mechanism be their only goal. And they're so focused on this little baby that they're trying to build that they're missing the dream and the vision that they have that's much bigger than that. When you have a bigger dream and a bigger goal as what you're going after, then you start to create cash flow and profit in your profit mechanism to fund that bigger thing because your eyes are on a bigger prize, much higher than, much further out than that cash flow thing. And if you do that, you're looking at whatever it takes to create a profit, create an initial cash flow, to test your product in the marketplace, to get it out to the most amount of people that are out there, to get it in front of the most people, and then funding that effort, the advertising, the marketing, with the cash flow that comes in. For instance, sometimes I've seen people, they may either need to increase the price of their product to double it, or cut the price of their product in half to get more customers and find that sweet spot of pricing. And that's a whole nother conversation right there. So maybe double the price of your product and you only lose 30% of your customers. You just made, I think, probably 50% more profit in the long run. Or cut your price in half and triple your customers. Same thing right there. So finding that sweet spot, then you can start to take that cash flow, take that revenue, and put it into these bigger goals. Put it into what your main goal is, what your focus is, what your goal that's bigger and greater than you is, by building that fast cash flow right there, that profit mechanism, and doing it in that order, focusing on creating your own self-funding nest egg, your own self-funding fund of capital to then pour into your bigger goal. And if you do this, it'll all start to fit together. It'll all start to come together. And so often I've seen people, man, they're trying to hatch their big goal, and they sit there for years trying to hatch their big goal. They're trying to do the big goal. They're trying to do the big thing, the big baby that they're holding onto and squeezing and choking out and killing, because that's what they're focused on. Instead of, how can we get a profit mechanism to then fund the bigger thing that we're doing? How do we stair step it in that? And this approach will also take your eyes completely off of a lack scarcity mindset that you are never have enough. And you'll step into an abundance mindset of having everything that you need and then going after your goals from there. So there's a lot more layers to this, but I've seen so often people, they have these big goals and they literally kill their dreams because they're so focused on that big goal and won't set their pride aside and be willing to create a profit mechanism for themselves to then fund their big goal. And this is where I think a lot of people miss out. And every business that I've seen that's been successful, that's gone far and the distance, always starts with a simple profit mechanism that then they can build on and add tentacles to and attach to and start to fund those efforts. And so for you, that's where you need to start. Start with that profit mechanism. Start there. I'm not saying lay aside and throw away your big goal. I'm saying you need something to get you started, because then you can invest that into what your bigger goals are. And so I'm not going to go much further into this. That was just, for today, I wanted to really break that down for you so that you understood what a profit mechanism is, why you need it, and why just having your eye on the big goal and feeling inadequate that you can't reach it is never going to get you there. So you start to stair step it each day, a little bit at a time, and you'll get there.